the three waves that I found. The first wave, that they must be now in their early 50s, their 40s or their early 50s, because the first one I discovered had just turned 30 years old, and that was 20 years ago, and I'm still in touch with him. Now, this wave, when they came in, these are people, they don't want to be here. They don't like it here. They can't stand the violence. They want to go home, but they don't know where home is. They just know it's not here. They're very gentle people. These are not conspirators. They're not people who want to hurt anyone. They're just here to change by existing, by being here. So they are living among us just as ordinary people, but it's very, very difficult for them because they feel out of place. You can understand why. Because the ones I've talked to, and this is all over the world, they said they have a good family, they had a good job, but they just didn't want to be here. They wanted to go home. And many of them did try to commit suicide, especially in their earlier years, because they just couldn't take it here. But after I've worked with them and they find out why they're here, then they change and they say, all right, I may not like it here, but I'm going to do my job. This is the first wave of people. Another characteristic of these first wave, they don't like violence, but they can't understand emotion. Anger and fear upset them and paralyze them to where they can't handle it. So many of them kind of remain as loners because the whole emotional thing of Earth is just so chaotic. See, Earth is a very challenging planet, and they said you're very brave to come to Earth and want to experience what's here. We're here to learn emotions and limitations, and some people that's very difficult. Okay, the second wave are different. They are in their 20s and their 30s now. They're just below the age group of the first wave. I call them the antennas, the channelers, the generators. This is what they're called. They're different. They didn't have near the problems that the first wave did. They are here not to do anything. They're just here to be. Their energy that they generate in their body affects everyone they come in contact with. So can you see how this is going to help change the world? They just live by themselves, or they work from home. They're very gentle people, but they say they could walk through a mall of people or a grocery store and affect everyone that they came in contact with. Very positive energy. And both of these groups don't want to have children. Now, when they come in, they said there's like a shield, I guess you would say, put over them so they cannot accumulate karma. It's to keep them from accumulating karma. And the majority of them don't want children because children causes karma when you have children. They want to do their job and get out of here. They don't want to be stuck on Earth. They want to go back to where they came from. They're just a volunteer. You wouldn't even know them. They just blend in very easily. They don't have the problems. And I asked them, why did the first one have so many problems where the second wave didn't? They said somebody had to be the beginning. Someone had to be the pioneers. They were the way showers. They had to blaze the trail. That's why they had so much difficulty. Then the second group were easier for them to follow. The third wave are the new children, and we're all familiar with them now. And they are the ones they're called to give to the world. They're different. Their energy is different. They come in knowing so much more. And they said the DNA has already been changed. Now, our DNA is being worked on constantly. This is part of the abduction stuff. Everything that is happening has to do with the DNA is being changed. But they're very concerned about the effects of the additives in our food and the pollutants in the air and what we're doing to our bodies. That explains a lot of the abductions with the examinations. They're trying to find cures for cancer and for all the other diseases. And when this happens, they will give these subconsciously to different scientists so they can develop cures on their own. But also, the DNA is being manipulated so that we don't get sick and we will live longer. And the children are coming in with it already in place. I just read an article. The scientists are doing examinations of our DNA. They are finding something definitely has happened. We are turning into a totally new species of human, that our DNA is different than it was even 20, 30 years ago. They said we're turning into a species that cannot get sick. So I said, aha, they're finally beginning to find proof of it. I asked them one time, well, the scientists know something. The doctors notice something is different. They said, no, because they won't know what to look for. But it's there.
I wrote the book, The Three Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth, because everybody kept wanting to know about the New Earth. In my lectures, this kept coming up again and again about the New Earth in 2012, and I had a lot of material on that. So rather than working on Convoluted 4, this was in the year 2011, I pulled all the material I could find out of all of my books about the New Earth and how I came to the theory of the Three Waves of Volunteers. And I decided to put it all into one book rather than waiting to put it into Convoluted 4. I thought it was going to be a small book, but it ended up being over 500 pages. But over all these years, when I started out with Keepers of the Garden and I found my first case of somebody who had never lived on Earth before, then in the last 10 years, I began to have more and more of these people coming to me as clients, people who had never been on Earth before. And so I began to put these cases together and I began to follow them. And this is how I came up with the theory of the Three Waves of Volunteers, because they're ages. And it began to all fit and make sense as to the first wave and the second wave and the third wave. The volunteers who have volunteered to come to Earth at this time to help Earth as she moves into the other dimension. This is what's called the New Earth. We're going through a lot of tremendous changes right now. This is a very exciting time to be alive. Many things are happening. The Earth is a living being. As a lot of people know, everything is alive, and the Earth is also alive. And she is getting ready to move into her next incarnation. Just like people go from incarnation to incarnation, she is moving into the next one. It just took her longer than it takes people. But in order to move into the next dimension, she has to raise the vibrations and frequencies to do so. Now, we can go with her if we want to. She doesn't really care if the human race goes with her or not. Look at what we've done to the planet. We're like fleas on a dog. But if we want to go with her, we have to change our vibration and frequency also to match hers. So this has started about 2003, and we're in the middle of it now. And it's supposed to culminate when the energy culminates in 2012. So it's been a long process, and we're feeling the effects on our body as we move into the next dimension also. So the book, The Three Waves of Volunteers, talks about these people who have come to help Earth and about the new Earth is going to be like as we move into this and cross this tremendous threshold. And in my lectures and radio shows, people all say, now I know why I'm here. I thought I was the only person in the world who felt this way, who felt alone, who felt like they didn't belong here, who wanted to go home. Now they know the answers. And the answers are in the book, The Three Waves of Volunteers. It seems as though I've touched on something that's more common than people realize. A lot of the mail says, I didn't think there was anybody out there that thought like I did. I felt I was the only one in the world who felt this way, that I don't belong here, I don't want to be here, I want to go home. They thought they were the only ones in the world, and so they have kept themselves to themselves and not mixed with others because they felt they were different. So they said when the information came out about the three waves, finally it made sense. Somebody else out there in the world understands me. I'm not alone. You'd be amazed how many of you are all saying the same thing. Because we get mail from all over the world, and I travel all over the world, and they're all saying the same thing. I know I'm one of these people, and it finally makes me feel like I'm not strange, I'm not unusual, I'm not crazy. There are other people that feel the same way. They don't like it here, they don't want to be here, and they want to go home. So there's a whole lot more out there than I thought there was. And in my sessions, they're saying that there are hundreds of thousands of these volunteers that have come, and they're all over the world. And they said, finally, we have tipped the scales. And now we have enough of these people on Earth that we can save the Earth. So it's a very important mission that you have set out on. Now, of course, they say in my first wave and my second wave, it's hard to say. Most of it I base on their age, but sometimes there's crossovers into one and the other. Now, the third wave are the young people, the children. And we get emails, too. What about fourth wave? There is no fourth wave. It's not necessary. The third wave are the children, and they're already coming in with everything in preparation. The DNA, everything is, that's another email I got the other day. Somebody wanted to know why did they take the DNA away and why are they putting it back? That's not what it's about. The DNA is being changed. It's being upgraded, if you want to say that. We're going to 12 strands, but right now we're up to about 4 or 5. I think there are a few people that have 6. They have to do it gradually to see if it's going to hold. But the children coming in are coming in with the DNA already in place. They're ready to go. And they have the knowledge. They're already here. There's been programs on CNN where these children are establishing companies. They're doing things that the adults aren't doing. There was one on TV who, the 10-year-old child has already graduated from college and started his own organization. And you know what the organization deals with? Helping the children of the world. They know their place and they have not been discouraged and they are making a big difference in the world. One 11-year-old boy in high school, I think it would be high school, he has invented something that the doctors couldn't invent that will change the face of cancer testing. And the whole high school laboratory department has been behind him so he can experiment, and now he's working with the doctors of the world. This is what's happening with the third wave. As long as they haven't been discouraged and pushed down, they're here to save the world. I call them the hope of the world. So there is no fourth wave, they're just the third wave, 3 waves. The first and the second waves are the ones that have had the most problem. You've got to remember, when you come to Earth, you make a plan of what you hope to accomplish. In that plan, you also make contracts with all the people in your life. Your parents, your husbands, your wives, your sisters, your siblings, your friends, you make contracts with all of these people to help you through it. And what you plan, you hope to accomplish in this lifetime. But you get in here, of course, you don't remember. That's part of the whole thing of Earth's school. The veil comes down. You're not supposed to remember. You start off fresh. I asked them one time, would it be easier if we could remember our plan, if we could remember our contracts, know why we're here, why these things are happening to us? They said it wouldn't be a test if you knew the answers. So you have to come in and stumble your way back to find your way back. You got to remember where you came from, that you came from God originally, and you came with a plan, a very important plan to help save the Earth. Because that is what the first and second waves are here to do. You don't really have to do anything. All you have to do is be. The energy is so strong and is so powerful that that is what changes the world. They said the second wave especially, they can walk through a crowded mall of people, and their energy will affect everyone that they come into contact with. So all you have to do is be and generate the energy, and you're here to make a huge difference in that way. But many of them feel like, I don't want to be here. I want to go back. But you're here for a purpose. And once you understand that, you know you're here to make a big difference. I think that should help a lot of people. But I get hundreds and hundreds of emails. People are all struggling out there, all over the world. And they've been placed all over the world for this reason, to change the Earth. And we are going into a wonderful time because we're in the middle now of the shifting to the new Earth. We're already there. And you can see, if you really look around you, these volunteers are making a difference. So don't be discouraged. Don't think I'm not doing anything, because you are. Everyone has a part to play, a little piece of the puzzle, and it's very subtle. They don't realize. But it all accumulates. The energy accumulates and creates a great positive message for the world. And that's what you're here to be. And that's what the 3 waves are all about. So enjoy. They said also, bring joy into your life. Enjoy nature. Enjoy what's around you. That's what you're here to do. Okay, I hope that helps.